Hi, and welcome back to the episode.
It's not life as we know.
I'm your host, William Chow, and in today's episode, I have another interview with Richard, and we were going to talk about the aspects of AI and what will happen in the future, and what possibilities and some ideas and some possible scenarios that will happen with AI, depending on what what changes it will do to us as the human in society. All right. And for those who like to support me financially, I do also have the super thanks button down below, as well as the links for the PayPal and the Patreon. Now, I've been building a lot to the Patreon recently. I've now put a lot of resources available to you people, as well as a lot of the content that is for the subscribers that I cannot put on YouTube, because there's now a lot of topics that I'm now covering which are not allowed to be put on the YouTube, so all those things are now available to the members there. As well as I've also now put the my audiobooks available as in audio form and on video form as well. Those are also partially free to the Patreon members, so do check that out. Okay, and so for all the other new users that are on this channel, I've also compiled all the episodes of the History of Fan Anime into a large database sheet. And if you like to basically look at different episodes that are pertaining to certain topics, like maybe CDs or maybe art books or maybe the fan culture itself, like conventions and that kind of stuff, they're all put together in a book-like fashion, and they're put into the spreadsheet. Again, the link is below, as well as other resources like the database sheets for the My Anime list of the 1980s, and of course the top 30 animes of the 1980s is also all available in spreadsheet form there. Link is below. And in today's episode, I have another interview with Richard, and we were going to talk about the aspects of AI and what will happen in the future, and what possibilities and some ideas and some possible scenarios that will happen with AI, depending on what what changes it will do to us as the human in society. All right. So, without further delay, let's begin.
Well, it is 1984.
Yeah.
We just don't realize it
Yeah.
because we're so used to it now.
Yeah.
So looking at it from an AI aspect, okay, so it sounds like in general, the people's either querying or concern or the topic at hand is AI, and first two-part question, is AI an existential threat, right? And second, how is AI going to affect our way of life in the future, good or bad, correct?
Kind of planned out.
All right. So people can speculate out the wazoo, and so I'm going to give my angle on it because I thought about this when you asked me about it, and here's my angle. So I'm going to start off with sort of an off-tangential thing I'll speak about, which is how much do people want to be enslaved? Now, when I say enslaved, and there's 3 or 4 things that come to mind when I'm talking about this, is it's technology. So with technology, there's always benefits. There's always a boon, right? And so whenever you have technology, there's going to be a transition phase where people acclimate to it, and they can either exploit it for positive ends, positive whatever you think it is, or it can be negative in the sense of who those it may directly affect in a negative way, right? So technology unto itself, just like electricity, just like other things that forces we can tame in nature, money is a good example. It's neither good or evil. It's what you use it for that will ultimately express itself. So my view of it is, it's just another technology, thank you, that can either emancipate us, free us, or it'll enslave us. But I don't think people care about the benefits, right? Benefits come easy, like I remember Palm, right? When the first Palm came out, and then people talked about the iPad, like going from the Palm to something that was the nascent iPad to the actual iPad, and then the iPhone, right? Nobody talked about the negatives. Everybody's talking about the positive. But of course, your readers and your listeners are going to talk about the negatives. So I can bring up 3 things that come to mind first. Do you want to be Borg? Do you want to live in a Dune future where you have the guild and in the Landsrod there is the Bene Gesserit, right? and then people are using psychedelics versus the advanced technology in this weird empire in the future? Or is it going to be like Wall-E, where everybody's fat, sitting in their chairs, everything's given to them in this technology, and AI probably controls all their needs? And to the extent that you have robots walking around, robots that people don't even want, right? And then you can look at other movies like I, Robot, right? Or Blade Runner or anything. So what it is you're looking at a technology that can either be beneficial and you can exploit it, or it's going to enslave you because you become complacent and lazy. So those are the things that you can talk in the directions of. What will it look like as a possible future? Now, my view of it is based on at least 3 or 4 things I've already read into, is I do believe that Elon Musk, in his own twisted way, said that AI is an existential threat, right? He is warning us because that guy's no idiot, and he's exploiting all these things like money and technology and everything to build his empire. But when someone like that talks, you better listen. If you talk about AI from the standpoint of some conspiracy stuff, they even bring it up as an existential threat. Like you said, Skynet, Terminator, right? War games, or any of these things, that genres, they always lean, nobody wants to talk about the positive because negative is sensationalist. So in a nutshell, those are some of the things I think people need to think about if they're talking about AI. So pick one of them. Is it Borg? Are we all going to be Borg? Are we all going to be having to be better human beings with human potential, transhumanistic potential to leverage our abilities against AI when AI cannot do some things and we become better people? Or is it going to be Wall-E and we're all fat, living out of our chairs and having everything served to us from AI and robots and technology? Or in a Blade Runner future where I don't need to go out and date a girl, I can get my AI girlfriend, right? That's in a replicant or a hologram or whatever. Or is AI going to be so sophisticated? It's like Star Trek, food replicators, holograms, people that explore the universe so they can live in this hedonistic bacchanalian universe, right? This utopian universe that obviously in the last few thousand years we haven't even been able to even achieve now, right? And I don't think Star Trek will be, will manifest or incarnate itself. Maybe a Star Wars universe or a Firefly universe, I don't know. So that's what I would say in a nutshell. I think the possibilities are for AI. So pick one. What do you think it will be? Like knowing human nature, knowing what we're like, what is the potential that will be? That's the real question, is knowing the way people are, what is the possibility that we'll utilize AI for our future? Is it going to be wipe us out? Somewhere in between where we still coexist with it, but we utilize it so we limit it from taking us over, Matrix, whatever? Or is it we're just going to be just really lazy, complacent, indolent people that will just let the AI do everything and we don't care? Yeah. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Yeah. It's always been sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Pretty much. Right? Anything. Any advances in our technology, people usually use it for sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Right. Well, you can use it to improve on the foibles and the liabilities of mankind. But does that make money though? Yeah, see, exactly. Because it has to do with money too. Yes. Right.
So exactly, we're not going to try to make a language translator for whales or something. Mm-hmm. Right? It's not like saying that they're not. Right. They're not trying, but I mean.
But that's not the priority, because if you're talking about money and power, exactly, people always leverage technology to either consolidate or collate and hoard more money and power. That's what I think people will do, is they'll find any way to use it to a way that they can consolidate power and money, right? If it can, it's useless, right? Cost centers, nobody likes cost centers. People like revenue generators, profiteering. And that's where I see the technology being utilized, right? So, or war, right? That some people postulated in the future, whoever has the best AI that can win cyber warfare will win the planet, right? So you develop an AI that's so superior that you can beat other AIs from other nation states, then you win the planet. You dominate, right? And everybody else has to toe the line. But if you're talking about your readers, your viewers, me, you, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, 100%, yeah.
hedonistic.
Correct. It's going to be bacchanalian and hedonistic, first and foremost. And we can talk about you. You're already utilizing AI to write your books. If you're on your 5th book, to help you, you are using AI to assist you for entertainment and for distractions as part of the culture.
Right.
Why not? You're going to make money from it. You're going to get attention whoring and clout, right? And it's just a tool, right? But yeah, sure, there's going to be sociopaths, psychopaths, psychotics out there that will use it for nefarious means. No shit, right? Of course, that's obvious. But for everybody else, what are they going to see it as? It's just going to be a very, very sophisticated tool that can be used for whatever means. They're going to have these, what are they talking about? In telephones, AI-enabled smartphones. And that's why I proposed the Borg thing, the thing about the Borg, right? Or the Matrix or iRobot or whatever. There's going to be a point where they're going to synergistically be integrated with us to allow us to do things that we normally don't want to do, or we want an improvement on our quality of life, supposedly, or make things more efficient, optimized. But like I said, you pick any scenario, I can discuss it, but I think they're all possible. It just depends on if human beings are going to be benevolent, altruistic, and go to the direction that we want this utopia, which I don't think will happen.
We never went one.
Because we've had several thousand years and it always ends the same way, right? Or are we just going to be selfish and just, it's another tool we use to do dumb shit?
Yeah.
I would probably stick with the latter than the former,
Yeah.
right? But I think for your users, or for your listeners and your people that are viewing it, the best thing to say is, well, it's just going to be a more sophisticated tool that can do things better than what I could do before.
All right, I hope you found that really interesting, and I'd like to thank you for making it this far in the video. It really is, really great that you enjoyed the content enough to make it to this point. And again, if you haven't hit like, please do so down below, because it really does help the algorithm. All right, anything that it does to promote the video would be really good. And so we'll have more coming up in the next episode. All right, so until then, I will see you again.